Okay, we're going to begin our question and answer session with Lightbridge. Today we have John Johnson, a Senior VP, with us to answer some questions for everyone. We'll get started right now. Our first question is, what are the next steps for Lightbridge to advance its proprietary nuclear technology?
Well, we have a R&D program for our fuel technology. It's pretty exciting, and I focused the presentation, as you could hear, on our advisory services. So our advisory services have brought in more than $45 million revenue over the past 4 years, and I've been associated with coordinating an independent, credible regulatory program in the United Arab Emirates. And what we've done is used our pretty high margin revenue for our team of consultants to try to fund our fuel technology. And the next steps are to create our new fuel design, continue testing in advanced reactors in the United States and overseas, and demonstrate to fuel manufacturers the testing that needs to be done to pass Nuclear Regulatory Commission testing in the United States, and to satisfy the utilities around the world that this is a type of fuel design that they ought to invest in.
Okay, thank you. And our next question, can you discuss average power plant age worldwide, and what type of opportunity does this present for Lightbridge?
Well, in the U.S., the power plants are probably one of the earliest designs, certainly in the former Soviet Union and Russia, and a few in Eastern Europe now. Probably somewhere on the average of 30 years. Several in the U.S. have had their licenses extended from 40 years to 60, and they're entering that period now. As you know, in the U.S., the life extension is for 20 years, and in Europe, one of the processes they use typically is a 10-year extension. So I think you see in Europe now some of those original extensions are entering into play. So this provides an opportunity for Lightbridge. Our fuel design has advantages in power uprates, and for certain existing utilities that are finding, public opposition in some cases to new sites, the best thing they can do is to use our fuel design and incorporate that with life extension and a power uprate, and it becomes, in some cases, much more economical than to build a brand new power plant.
Okay. And we have another question that's come in. How has the market for nuclear fuel been following the disaster in Japan?
Well, as you know, in Japan they have 50 somewhat power plants that are pretty idle. So until the government can certify that they have reevaluated their safety for flooding and seismic issues, they're going to have an effect on the fuel market. But if you look at from a big picture outside Japan and in Germany, let's say, the nuclear construction is proceeding at a pretty rapid pace in India and China, and of course there's several plants, 4 plants in the U.S. that are under new construction. So I think the recent tsunami and accident at Fukushima has definitely affected the fuel market, but I don't think from a long-term investment standpoint it's going to have that much of an effect, because I can even see now that Japan is starting to do inspections on their nuclear plants to certify whether they can restart. So I think you'll see the nuclear fuel market pick up. But in the long run, nuclear power is the only solution for the climate and for global warming, and it can't happen without a steady and secure nuclear power plant operation. So I think you're going to see the nuclear fuel market continue to grow in the years ahead.
Great. And our next question, what factors contribute to a country picking nuclear fuel for power versus other alternatives?
Well, I can give an example of United Arab Emirates. The question is, why would a country in the Middle East with a lot of fossil fuels want to establish a nuclear power program? And there's a number of reasons. They have described this many times to the international community. Of course, there's also questions about nuclear proliferation and so forth. But the United Arab Emirates have described this as, number one, climate. Number two, they'd rather sell the oil from a strategic resource to be used for income to the country. They have an expanding population and growth in that area, and they've looked at long-term supplies, and they've determined that nuclear is the best answer. And I think you see other countries that would add, stability, security of fuel supply. I think that the reason a lot of countries, China, they understand, the climate and the atmosphere in Beijing. There's a lot of smog. There's a lot of danger and risk in coal mining and so forth. So I think even though coal and other fossil fuels are obviously needed in the future, they're not going to go away right away. The only real solution to climate change and security in the future is nuclear power, safe nuclear power.
Okay, thank you. And our next question, are there countries Lightbridge won't work with due to political concerns?
Well, we have very close cooperation with the U.S. government. As a U.S. company, we're not allowed to provide services to countries that the U.S. government does not authorize us to. We have high standards of safety and security and non-proliferation, and we have worked closely with the Department of Energy and our State Department and Department of Commerce and the NRC, who have to provide assurances to companies for U.S. transfer of nuclear technology. We helped set up the program in the United Arab Emirates, and this program has basically been supported by 2 U.S. presidents, and it's called the gold standard of nuclear cooperation around the world. And the IAEA and other nuclear countries have given full support to the UAE for the program that we've helped develop. So the answer is yes. There are some countries that we would not want to provide the services to, but I think from a strategic security of the United States, but also we do not have any ties to any particular type of nuclear technology, where we provide kind of independent, unbiased advice from a nuclear safety standpoint. But we certainly want to have the cooperation of all the nuclear countries in the world, and obviously especially the United States government.
Okay, thank you. And we have time for one more question here. And the question is, can you discuss some of the important details of the peer-reviewed article on your fuel technology that was published in late 2012?
Yes, we have a tremendous new exciting fuel design, but it's different than the fuel types that are being used throughout the world now, oxide fuels. But metal fuels are not new. They have been tried and they have been used in nuclear plants. And our article is trying to point out some of the advantages we have, and a couple of them are the fact that our fuel is metal. It's a metal alloy, and the current oxide, uranium oxide fuels, and even the MOX fuels, which are oxide, uranium and plutonium oxide, they have kind of reached their limit of pushing their limit for temperatures and burn up and so forth. Because of the chemistry and material properties, they swell and expand, and so the fuel that's being used now is about as advanced as it can get. Our article has pointed out some of the benefits. The shape of our fuel provides added mixing of the water as it goes by it. It also operates at a lower temperature. It doesn't use grid spacers, which are basically metal straps that go around fuel. All the fuel assemblies now in use metal straps to help them. Ours is a stronger because it's a solid metal and it doesn't need these, so it provides some added mixing and some neutron benefits. And so our fuel, we believe, is better for normal operation, for higher power, as well as for accidents like loss of coolant accidents. And our testing and research and development is planned to show that and demonstrate even further.
Okay, thank you, and that takes us to through the allotted time. I want to thank you again, John Johnson, for sharing the story of Lightbridge and for participating in the question and answer session.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.